mind, no, okay. I'm gonna look at the camera. I'm having a conversation here in the camera. My first Broadway show was Anything Goes. I did a couple of encores, New York City Center encores, so I could feel that Broadway was coming really close soon. And I just knew it was just a matter of time. So I heard about this show called Anything Goes that was happening with Sutton Foster. It was like, oh, nobody knew what was gonna be happening, but it was a big deal because she was gonna be compared to all the divas before who have taken on the role. And when I went in, I didn't know if I was gonna get it. All I knew is that we were tapping and Kathleen Marshall was directing and choreographing it. We went in and learned some choreography by Vince Pesh, and next thing you know, I got a call that I got in the show. And it's a limited engagement because it was with Roundabout Theater Company. But if you're open longer than like 3 months, they bump you up to a Broadway contract. And so I was like, okay, well, this is work for 3 or 4 months. And we're talking about the spring of 2011. It was the first time I really understood what it meant to be in something that was truly Broadway. Kind of changed my life. You only get one first. It doesn't matter what it is, that the show's gonna close in a couple of days or the show's gonna close in like years. It's the first, and being the first is exciting, and I will never forget it. Yeah. I didn't really think about it at the time, but it was the first time I had done so much work with this level of talent. Even to understand the level of John McMartin and Jessica Walters, just people who I didn't really know about, but had these long, amazing careers. And so to be able to learn from Joel Grey, as well as Sutton and just a bunch of other people, and especially Marty Paklaginis, who was the costume designer for the show, who passed away. It was just a blessing to be a part of something like that. My first night on the Broadway stage, I was scared. I mean, mind you, we're at, the Stephen Sondheim Theater. It was just so much energy. Apparently the Stephen Sondheim Theater used to be the Arthur Miller Theater, and they tore it down and then they dug into the ground and left just the facade. They dug into the ground. So when you go into the Stephen Sondheim Theater, you actually go down into the ground to watch the show. First of all, you ain't got no cell phone service. So I felt some type of way about that because I'm always on my phone. Everybody would tell you I'm always on the phone doing something. I couldn't do anything but just the work. So I think it was actually a blessing to be able to do that. Everybody was just sending faxes, and just every show sends you a fax and they put it all on the wall when you open your show. That was exciting to be a part of, and I'll never forget it. There's a great memory that I remember seeing my mother in the audience. She was the only Black woman in the audience. And I remember saying to her that I wanted her to wear this purple dress and these purple earrings and this purple necklace that I had gotten for her. And I said, when I do my first Broadway show, I want you to wear this. And there she was opening night as we're tapping along, and she's there, only Black woman in the middle. That's my baby, that's my baby. So it was, I'll never forget that moment. It was interesting to be one of the only Black guy in the show, because you find yourself thinking about what you're doing. You're not finding yourself thinking like, I'm the only one. The hardest and the greatest lesson that I've learned being in this business, it's much more about you making sure you make time for yourself. A lot of times when we're auditioning, we're the ones who are trying to be what they want us to be. We're always directed. We're always told what to do, told what kind of character to be. You get a breakdown and it's a list of who the characters are and exactly how they are and their age ranges and things. But you can't be that person until you know yourself. A lot of times it's much more difficult to try to build a character when there's nothing to build it with. So I would say continue to find what's the greatness of you, not the validation that everybody applauds for you and what you do and who you look like and how you are. It's more about you finding the validation within yourself, to find the greatness within yourself. That's the service that we bring to the world. You know, it's more about you giving people from the overflow of your cup, because what's inside of the cup is yours. So you take care of it. My number one piece of advice for people who want beyond Broadway is to find what's missing in the world. Understand the passion of what you have for yourself and what you want to do. And if that passion coincides with what's missing, then you fill it up. Make it happen. Do the work and really find the way to shine in what's missing. A lot of times people are waiting for other people to do things for them, waiting for somebody to build the foundation. And who's to say that you're not that person to build the foundation? I just started a nonprofit called Black Broadway Men, and I didn't think that, I had a lot of doubts. I was like, how am I gonna be able to do this? Who's gonna believe? Who's gonna care? Am I really the person to do this, to step up and make this happen? Like, who are you? We get into our own heads, and it's up for you to really listen to the inner voice and that power within yourself to say, wow, if this is something that you really need to do and want to do, that you're passionate about, understand the goal, learn what you need to learn, and then figure out how to do it, and then just do it. It's our responsibility to take care of the world, to be of service to people. And if you don't make it happen, it will never happen the way that you want it to happen, because apparently you're the only person who could do it the way that you do it. Don't make excuses. Excuses do hold you back. And I'm not gonna lie, I make excuses all the time. And I think about it all the time, but we get into our own heads, we're our own saboteur. But it's about you calming those voices and understanding the truth of where you're gonna go, the focus, the mission, the purpose, building the structure of how to get there for yourself, and make it happen, because you can. The first time that I found out that I wanted to be on Broadway, I was watching a show called Fosse, and a guy flew across the stage, and his name was Desmond Richardson. And I remember seeing that show. I was sitting next to my good girlfriend, Tiffany Howard, and I said, wow, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And seeing all those people on that stage dance and sing and just love the art and live and breathe, it was like, that's my family. So in my life, there have been influential people that have really inspired me and guided my career in ways that I just probably couldn't believe and didn't know that I had the potential. I'm gonna say two. The first person is Greg Burge. And many may know the name, or many may not. This gentleman worked with Michael Jackson. He did The Wiz. He is known for being Richie in a chorus line in the movie. I remember watching that movie when I was a kid, and I wanted to be him really bad. So I remember seeing his moves, especially in Sophisticated Ladies with Hinton Battle. The way he moved, just his style and his voice and everything about him, I wanted to be that. And so I'm grateful for his journey, and he's passed now, but he definitely was an influencer in my life. Second person I have to say is a gentleman, his name was Kendrell Bowman. And I speak of him highly because when I met Kendrell, when I first started doing my first Broadway show, which was Anything Goes, and we met and we began to really connect in a way that was, I never met anybody like this before. And so it was the first time in my life that I met someone who really motivated me and pushed me in a way that I hadn't been pushed before. And so there's a show that I had written and produced with him called Mighty Real, a Fabulous Sylvester Musical. And it's based on the life of the 1970s disco singer Sylvester, who was the trailblazer during the time where people couldn't dress up and be them full selves. And so I really wanted to promote that and push that and let people know that you have that drive within yourself, just like Sylvester did. And I remember telling Kendrell about it and telling him what I wanted to hear me singing like Sylvester all loud and high. And he was like, people need to see you in a different light, but you have to believe it. And so he really pushed me to see the greatness within myself. And I think it's really amazing to have people in your life that way. And he does that not just for me, but for many other people that he comes in contact with, especially if he really believes in you and sees the greatness in you. So I'm grateful for that. And so now we're working on bringing Mighty Real to Broadway. I'm excited about it, so grateful for both of them. What is Black Broadway Men? Black Broadway Men is a nonprofit organization that brings together Black men of the Broadway and theater community to do three things: unify, strengthen, and recognize the legacy of those who've come before us. There was a time I was doing Broadway shows where I felt like I was the only one, where I felt like I didn't really have a voice, and I felt lonely and alone in a huge community of people. A lot of times we as Black men within the Broadway community fit in because we're, I call it, approved. We find ourselves being okay with where we are. Many people speak very freely when in those environments, and we allow them the opportunity to speak freely, but we can't because we don't want to come off as threatening or come off as the angry Black man or what have you. And a lot of people don't know that that's the struggle that we go through every day. We wake up in the morning and we're Black men. I'm a Black man. And so I walk down the street and I deal with systemic racism every day. And a lot of times I have to figure out a way to live this life where I can be okay. So Black Broadway Men creates the opportunity and the space for us all to learn about each other, to figure out who we are, and to support each other. A lot of times in this theater community, we as Black men, we have people to look up to, but we're not really connected to other men. Like many people have father issues when it comes to connecting and talking to other Black men who are older than us. It's interesting because we find ourselves wanting that male connection and don't really know what that means. Some Black men don't have fathers in the home. Some Black men are actually still dealing with the bully who was in school who talked about us, who beat us down, that football player who called us a faggot, and all those issues and those things. So you find yourself finding solace in theater, finding communication with your peers, your tribe of theater who happen to not be Black. And you believe that you're really equal in those situations, but then it comes a time where you're with people and they say, you know, all it takes is for them to call you the N-word and you feel some type of way. And you understand that you're not really with people who understand the truth of how you feel every day waking up in the morning. So this provides the opportunity for Black men in the Broadway community as well as other men of theater to come together. So we unify to actually really have fun with each other, learn about each other, and have a good time. We acquire the tools that we need, which is strength, for us to bring in people from all different mindsets to deal with financial freedom, to deal with mental health. The tools that we need as Black men to move forward in this life and to take care of ourselves. And then we recognize the people that have come before us because we are now the legacy for people to come after us. Unity, strength, and legacy. So we find those three things, and we believe in the mission of just taking care of ourselves as well as being there for others, the trans community, the LGBTQIA community, as well as women, as well as just many people who really feel downtrodden. So we're in the process of building programming and the situations for us to do that. I'm really excited about it, I'm really passionate about it, and I'm grateful to be president and founder of something that's going to continue on. I'm excited to inspire these men, especially with the whole thing about George Floyd and, you know, Black men being killed and shot by the police. It's real. And if you don't know that life, then you don't know that life. And I can't teach you about that life, but I can tell you what it's about. And so my other Black Broadway men who are dealing with that, all those issues, this is the space that we're going to come together and unite and support each other. If you are a Black Broadway man or want to be a supportive to Black Broadway men, we would love to have you. You can go to blackbroadwaymen.org. We're also on social media at Black Broadway Men. You can donate there as well. We're gonna do so many other things. We're gonna record albums, we're gonna do concerts, we're gonna do events, and we're gonna have a cookout. Because they've been talking to me, I was telling them we're gonna have a cookout, but you know, we in COVID. So can't anybody do that right now? But slowly but surely we coming out. But so if you want to be a part of Black Broadway Men and also want to be an ally of Black Broadway Men, please join us at blackbroadwaymen.org and follow us because we have so many exciting things to do. We have a mission to inspire and educate those young men who are coming up who want to see what we're going to do. It's about us creating the opportunity for that young Black guy in like Bismarck, North Dakota, who's the only Black man in his theater company. We're going to be a family for all Black men across the world.